Have you ever noticed that some people earn more money every year, get promoted, buy better things, upgrade their lifestyle, and yet they still feel financially stressed? They make twice what they made 5 years ago, but somehow their bank account looks almost the same. At first, that seems impossible. If income goes up, shouldn't wealth go up too? For millions of people, the answer is no. And that single misunderstanding is one of the biggest financial traps of modern life. Imagine a 25-year-old who gets his first decent job. He buys a modest phone, drives an old car, and shares an apartment with friends. Then he gets a raise. He moves into a nicer apartment. A year later, another raise. He upgrades his phone, then a better car, then premium subscriptions, then expensive vacations, then a luxury gym membership. None of these decisions feels reckless. Each one seems reasonable because his income is rising. But 10 years later, he discovers something shocking. His lifestyle has grown faster than his wealth. This is the lifestyle trap. The moment increased income automatically turns into increased spending. It is the reason millions of people spend their entire lives working harder, without ever becoming financially free. And the most dangerous part is that it rarely feels like a trap while you are inside it. The lifestyle trap usually begins with a completely innocent thought. I deserve this after working hard, getting a promotion, or surviving a stressful year. Rewarding yourself feels natural. Human beings are wired to seek comfort and avoid discomfort. When more money arrives, the brain immediately looks for ways to improve daily life. A slightly better apartment means less stress. A newer car feels safer. A better phone feels more efficient. Nicer clothes feel more confident. None of these purchases is evil. The problem is not the purchase itself. The problem is the pattern. Many people assume wealth is determined by income. In reality, wealth is often determined by the gap between what you earn and what you spend. A person earning $60,000 and saving $15,000 each year may build wealth faster than someone earning $150,000 and saving nothing. Think of income as water flowing into a bucket. Spending is the hole at the bottom. Most people focus entirely on increasing the water flow, while ignoring the size of the hole. Now here is where psychology becomes fascinating. Humans adapt incredibly quickly to improvement. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The new phone feels exciting for a few days. The new car feels amazing for a few weeks. The bigger apartment feels luxurious for a few months. Then the brain treats these upgrades as normal. What once felt like a luxury now feels like a necessity. That is why someone who never imagined spending $1,200 a month on rent can eventually complain that a $1,200 apartment feels too small. The brain constantly resets its baseline, and once the baseline rises, going backward feels painful. Imagine climbing a staircase. Each step represents a lifestyle upgrade. The first step is easy. The second feels rewarding. By the 10th step, you are spending so much that stepping down even one level feels like failure. The trap is not that people cannot afford the upgrade today. The trap is that they build a life that requires tomorrow's income to survive. Let's look at a simple example. Sarah earns $3,000 per month after taxes. She spends $2,500 and saves $500. After a promotion, she earns $4,000. Instead of saving the extra $1,000, she upgrades her apartment, car payment, subscriptions, and dining habits. Her expenses rise to $3,700. She now saves only $300. She received a raise, yet her financial future became weaker. Most people would never notice this because their quality of life visibly improved. Wealth, however, is invisible. The new apartment is visible. The investment account is not. The new car is visible. The emergency fund is not. Humans are heavily influenced by what others can see. This is why social comparison is fuel for the lifestyle trap. A friend buys a new car. A coworker travels to Europe. Someone on Instagram posts a luxury apartment. Another friend gets a designer watch. Suddenly, your perfectly adequate life feels inadequate. Social media has amplified this effect dramatically. Previous generations compared themselves with neighbors and coworkers. Today, people compare themselves with thousands of carefully edited highlights from strangers around the world. You are not competing with reality. You are competing with other people's best moments. And because financial success is often displayed through spending rather than saving, many people unconsciously believe that looking wealthy is the same thing as being wealthy. A person driving a luxury car may have less net worth than someone driving a 10-year-old sedan. One is displaying consumption. The other may be quietly building assets. The wealthy person is often invisible. The lifestyle trap becomes even more dangerous when debt enters the picture. A car payment spreads a large purchase over years, making it feel affordable. A credit card turns today's desire into tomorrow's obligation. Financing allows people to enjoy the lifestyle immediately while postponing the pain. The brain loves this arrangement. Immediate pleasure is emotionally powerful. Future payments feel abstract. Behavioral economists call this present bias. We naturally give greater weight to immediate rewards than future consequences. Suppose someone buys a $40,000 car with monthly payments. They focus on the monthly amount, not the total cost. The car becomes part of their identity long before they fully own it. Soon the payment feels normal. Then they upgrade again. Many households are not poor because they lack income. They are poor because too much future income has already been promised to past decisions. Think about that for a moment. Every recurring payment is a claim on your future labor. Rent, car payments, subscriptions, financing plans, and debt payments are all tiny financial employees that get paid before you do. The more obligations you create, the less freedom you keep. Freedom is the hidden currency of wealth. A person with low expenses can change careers, start a business, take time off, move cities, or survive economic shocks more easily. A person with high expenses may earn a large salary, yet feel trapped because missing one paycheck would create a crisis. This is why financial freedom is not simply about earning more. It is about needing less. Now let's explore a subtle psychological shift that happens as income rises. Early in life, people ask, "Can I afford this?" Later they ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" Eventually they stop asking altogether because spending becomes automatic. That automatic spending is the real danger. When every raise immediately upgrades housing, transportation, entertainment, and lifestyle, income growth never reaches wealth-building activities such as investing, emergency savings, business creation, or retirement accounts. A dollar invested at 25 has decades to grow. A dollar invested at 45 has far less time. Every year spent upgrading lifestyle instead of assets is a year that compounding cannot work. This is why the trap is so expensive even when the monthly spending increase seems small. An extra $300 per month spent on lifestyle upgrades may not feel dramatic. Invested consistently over decades, that same amount could potentially grow into a substantial sum. The cost of the trap is not just what you spend. It is what that money could have become. So how do people escape? Not by becoming extreme misers. Not by never enjoying life. The goal is intentional spending rather than automatic spending. A powerful rule is to separate raises from lifestyle upgrades. When income increases, decide in advance where the extra money will go. For example, invest 50% of every raise before changing your lifestyle at all. If your salary increases by $1,000 per month, automatically invest $500 first. You still enjoy more income, but your future benefits too. Another useful strategy is creating a waiting period for major purchases. When you want a new car, phone, or luxury item, wait 30 days. Desire is often strongest in the moment. Time allows emotion to cool and logic to return. You can also focus on cost per year, rather than monthly payment. A subscription costing $20 per month sounds harmless. That is $240 per year. 10 subscriptions become $2,400 per year. Small recurring expenses quietly become large annual numbers. Most importantly, define what enough means for you. Without a personal definition of enough, society will define it for you, and society's definition tends to keep moving upward. Ask yourself, which expenses genuinely improve my life, health, relationships, or freedom? Which expenses exist mainly to impress others or maintain an image? That single question can transform financial behavior. One of the most liberating realizations is that many expensive upgrades provide surprisingly little long-term happiness. Studies on happiness consistently find that relationships, health, meaningful work, and a sense of control over life matter far more than many status purchases. Financial freedom often produces more lasting happiness than luxury consumption. Because freedom reduces chronic stress. Imagine having enough savings that an unexpected bill does not create panic. Imagine being able to leave a toxic job. Imagine taking a career break, starting a business, or spending more time with family. Those experiences are difficult to buy through consumption, but they become more possible through wealth. And wealth is built from the gap between earnings and spending. The lifestyle trap keeps millions poor not because they are foolish, but because they are human. We seek comfort, status, belonging, and reward. Modern advertising, social media, and easy credit constantly encourage us to spend today and worry later. Escaping the trap requires awareness. The next time your income rises, pause before upgrading everything around you. Ask a different question. Instead of, what can I buy with this raise? Ask, what future can I build with this raise? That question shifts your focus from temporary pleasure to long-term freedom. The people who become financially secure are not necessarily the ones who earn the most. They are often the ones who allow their wealth to grow faster than their lifestyle. Remember this, every dollar has two possible jobs. It can make today look richer, or it can make tomorrow become richer. The lifestyle trap convinces you to choose the first job over and over again. Real wealth is not the car in the driveway, the logo on the shirt, or the vacation on social media. Real wealth is the ability to live life on your own terms, with less fear, less financial pressure, and more freedom. And that freedom usually begins with a simple decision. Let your income rise, but refuse to let your lifestyle rise just as fast. Because the moment your spending stops chasing your earnings is the moment wealth finally gets a chance to catch up. Even after escaping the lifestyle trap, there is one challenge that quietly determines whether someone stays wealthy or eventually falls back into financial stress. It is not about earning more money. It is not about finding the perfect investment. It is about protecting the habits that created wealth in the first place. Many people believe that once they become financially comfortable, discipline is no longer necessary. But history shows the opposite. Countless lottery winners, professional athletes, celebrities, and even business owners have earned millions only to lose it all. The reason is rarely a lack of income. It is usually a lack of financial habits. Imagine building a strong house on a solid foundation. The higher you build, the more important that foundation becomes. Wealth works the same way. As your investments grow, your decisions become more valuable. A single emotional mistake can erase years of patient progress. This is why successful investors focus less on predicting the market and more on controlling their own behavior. Markets will rise. Markets will fall. News headlines will create fear and excitement, but long-term wealth is often built by those who remain calm, while everyone else reacts emotionally. Think about the people who sold all their investments during a market crash because they were afraid of losing more money. Many locked in permanent losses, while those who stayed invested benefited from the recovery that followed. Patience is one of the few financial advantages available to everyone, regardless of income. Another important lesson is that wealth should create opportunities, not pressure. As your savings grow, you gain choices. You can invest in learning new skills, start a business, spend